Our winter storm rapidly moving east, bringing snow to parts of Florida, but that leaves us with potentially dangerous cold tonight. We'll show you how cold it starts Wednesday morning in First Warning Weather.
And we got our own snow flurries here in Central Texas, but over in Houston, heavy snowfall. We'll take a look at the Bayou City, frozen over.
And it's President Donald Trump's first full day back in the Oval Office, and he's already getting to work, the actions he's taking and reactions from across the country.
Well, the winter blast gripping Central Texas is suspected of killing 2 people in Austin. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Mudding.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. After a night of below freezing temperatures and snow, Austin Travis County EMS tells KXAN both deaths are from presumed hypothermia, and both people were found outdoors.
Austin Travis County EMS has responded to over a dozen cold exposure calls since yesterday. The Emergency Operations Center is coordinating responses from city and county departments. And with the threat of ice still lingering on some of the roadways, Austin's Transportation and Public Works Department is still out treating bridges and streets, but the city is still urging people to stay home unless it's absolutely necessary for you to go out.
And so far, the city has not seen any major power outages and only a handful of water issues. So let's get straight to Nick Bannon. Many schools, Nick, decided to have a normal day tomorrow.
Yeah, that's because the sun today, the dry wind, and the above freezing temperatures helped to melt a lot of the snow and ice that we had on the roads. That being said, any leftover moisture would refreeze again tonight. Although there's not a lot of leftover moisture, there's some. This is the view from our Indeed weather camera at the Domain with all the blue skies around. How much snow do we see? Well, here's just a handful of reports. We've got a full list at KXAN.com, but Lockhart in Caldwell County, the most that I saw out of our list, 1.2 inches. LaGrange in Fayette County, an inch. Same for Wimberley and Taylor. North Austin, just shy of an inch. Generally, it was a solid coating to an inch for most of us, and parts of the hill country missed out completely. Clear skies on clouds and radar, but it is already still chilly. We did not warm up a lot today, just enough to melt. Mid-30s across much of Central Texas right now, and this evening the temperature should drop back to freezing at 7. So anytime 7 or later, you could anticipate that any moisture on the ground could freeze with upper 20s by 11. Another night of a cold weather advisory through noon tomorrow. So coming up in First Warning Weather, we'll track our coldest night of winter before a gradual warm up and eventually some rain.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Let's look live now at our TxDOT cameras. You can see right now traffic is moving smoothly in what would normally be rush hour. Officers and emergency staff across the area, though, say that they have responded to dozens of crashes since last night.
All right, Jayla Washington joins us live now. And Jayla, what have you been seeing out there today? It does seem like things are getting better.
Hey, Jennifer, Daniel. Yeah, things certainly getting better compared to earlier. So earlier this morning, not a lot of sunshine, lots of snow on the ground, a lot of slick spots out there, which is why I think it was a bit quieter with not a lot of people on the roads. But yeah, people back out, kind of moving and grooving now. The thing, though, that is still concerning for those emergency responders is the fact that people driving faster than they should, and of course, that cold weather with moisture that is still on the roads.
Before most of the snow melted away on the first big wintry day of the season, lots of snowball fights, making snowmen, posing for fun pictures, and laughing.
I'm always staying loaded.
But overnight, snow and ice-coated roads making things very dangerous throughout the day.
Our officers are just trying to make sure that they can get to each and every one of them.
Round Rock police on X pleading with people to stay home. They tell us just between 2 Tuesday morning and just after 1 p.m., they had already responded to 21 motorist assist calls and 35 crashes.
It does take up and utilize resources for these collisions.
Meanwhile, Mustang Bridge police posting about this rollover crash with multiple injuries. And Austin Travis County EMS tells us they had responded to 16 collisions between midnight and 1 p.m. Our TxDOT cameras catching this crash too, from a big rig on 35 South leaking fuel onto the roadway. And more video flooding into our newsroom of trucks like this one, wheels spinning out on ice.
People are still flying out there. Is there anything you want to say to them?
While it may look like all of the ice is mostly melted or completely melted away, the reality is that you just don't know. If there's moisture on the roadways tonight, there's still the potential that we could refreeze.
I don't think anyone should drive in these conditions. It's pretty slick out there.
And now, again, as you just heard the captain from Austin Travis County EMS say, they are concerned about possibly things refreezing overnight with some of that moisture that's still on the roads from the melted snow. So they want to be mindful of that. Just be careful, take it slow, and simply just stay home if you can. Jennifer Daniel, send it back to you.
All right, Jayla, thank you very much. And going in depth, the city of Bee Cave is putting technology to work today. Last year, the police department started a partnership with Eve Vehicles, allowing them to use drones as their eyes and ears for first responders. So the drones feed back video in real time, giving crews a bird's eye view of road conditions, including which streets have the most snow and ice accumulation. Southeast Texas had a historic weather day, the most snowfall in Houston in more than half a century.
And our Capitol Bureau reporter Dylan McKim walked the streets of Houston to bring us the sights and the sounds of a snow day.
Houstonians woke up to something rare. A snow day, and we had to get outside to capture it.
Now, this kind of snow doesn't just happen here in Houston, but don't take my word for it.
Bush Intercontinental reporting that this is the single highest day total that they've actually seen since 1973.
All that snow shut down Houston's airports, grounding hundreds of flights and stranding travelers.
Downtown Houston saw about 3 to 5 inches of snowfall, but the most the city has ever seen was back over 100 years ago at almost 20 inches. It's a real outlier. The mayor of Houston did ask people to stay off the roads today, but that didn't stop everyone.
Roads were slick.
This is like complete ice.
It was not bumper-to-bumper traffic, but people cautiously drove their way around. Still, there were 7 crashes on the city's freeways today. Most people decided to walk, or even run, making their way to parks, where they let their inner child out with sledding and snowball fights, taking the day off of work to hang with the dogs.
Have a rest, relaxation, enjoy the snow, right?
Yeah, this is my first time.
And it was a perfect day for Maria Angeles to make her first ever snowman.
For me, it's a dream. I feel like I'm dreaming.
In Houston, I'm Dylan McKim.
All right, back here at home in Austin, Austin's cold weather shelters are open to anyone who needs to warm up, and plenty of people took advantage of them overnight. According to Austin Mayor Kirk Watson, as of Tuesday morning, about 550 people used the 5 activated shelters. Those shelters will continue with 24-hour operations through Wednesday morning.
And amid all of the cold, Austin Fire had to deal with a fire at an abandoned church in East Austin earlier this afternoon. It happened along the 7500 block of Blessing Avenue, just south of Highway 183 near Cameron Road. That church has a long history. It's part of the St. John Regular Baptist Association, a group of churches formed in 1897 that was one of the first post-emancipation associations of black churches. The San Antonio Express News reports the church also burned in December of 2023, displacing about 40 people who had been staying there. Austin police say they have arrested a known gang member in this past weekend's deadly gas station shooting downtown, and they say he wasn't legally allowed to have a gun. Around 3 a.m. on Saturday, APD responded to reports of a shooting on East 7th Street near I-35, and that's where they found the victim, 23-year-old Chevrolet Lockett, in a car, unresponsive. Police detained 25-year-old Zion Singleton that night. He's charged with first-degree murder. Detectives say Singleton was parked at the pumps when the victim was dropped off at the station and then got into Singleton's car. And they say that's when Singleton opened fire.
Texas is once again installing more buoys in the Rio Grande River. At the direction of Governor Greg Abbott, workers began the installation process of those new buoys yesterday. According to the Texas Department of Public Safety, this, quote, proven method deters illegal border crossings between the ports of entry. When the first buoys went in the water, the Justice Department challenged the legality of the move. Those types of challenges are not likely from President Trump's administration. Governor Greg Abbott has promised to double the number of buoys already installed in the river.
President Donald Trump has wasted no time getting down to business with pardons and executive orders.
As NBC's Alice Barr reports, it's drawing applause and also raising concerns in Washington and across the country.
On his first full day in office, President Trump attending a prayer service at Washington National Cathedral and meeting with lawmakers at the White House as his day one executive orders begin taking effect. Overnight, criminal defendants in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol started walking out of jails and stripping off surveillance. After the president pardoned roughly 1,500 rioters, including those convicted of assaulting police officers. Former officer Michael Fanone was beaten defending the Capitol and testified before the January 6th committee, today seeking a protective order, saying his family has been threatened and harassed.
My thoughts are on protecting myself and members of my family.
President Trump also taking sweeping executive action on immigration, including ending the right to citizenship for people born in this country to undocumented parents. Close to 20 Democratic attorneys general already suing to block the move, citing long-held constitutional protections.
We'll see. We think we have very good grounds. People have wanted to do this for decades.
The president ordering the borders sealed, the wall finished, and forcing migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. to wait in Mexico. Appointments that were set for today now canceled. As asylum seekers learned a processing app stopped working.
I know the risk crossing illegally, and that's why we wanted to wait and cross legally. What we're saying is enter the legal way, but then we're going to destroy any legal pathways.
Amid questions about his ties to tech industry giants, President Trump today announcing more private sector investment in AI infrastructure. A busy start with signs of what's ahead in the new Trump term. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And Marco Rubio is officially the new Secretary of State. Vice President J.D. Vance read the oath of office to the former Florida senator, making Rubio the nation's 72nd Secretary of State. Following his swearing in, Rubio spoke about his goals for the State Department and what he views as the mandate President Trump has set for them.
And he's given us a very clear mandate. President Trump's made it very clear, everything we do, and this is true in government, but especially at the Department of State, everything we do must be justified by the answer to one of three questions. Does it make us stronger? Does it make us safer? And does it make us more prosperous? If it doesn't do one of those three things, we will not do it. So that is the goal, and that is the task, and that is the promise that he was elected to keep, and that is the promise he will keep, and we will help him keep.
Rubio is the first cabinet member of Trump's new administration to be confirmed by the Senate. He was also viewed as the president's least controversial pick. The Senate confirmed Rubio with a unanimous vote of 99-0.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
Well, looky here. Not all the snow has melted, although much of it has here today. Let's take it out to western Blanco County in high from our Covington Cellars camera, and you can see still some of that snow on the ground. And that is part of our concern here for tonight, is that while most of the snow has melted, some of the shadier areas may have protected some snow from melting here during the day. And any residual moisture that would be left over tonight as we drop back below freezing could harden up again and make things slick in some spots. So please, this evening, early tomorrow morning, be very careful, especially as you're driving in those typically shaded areas, as well as some elevated surfaces and bridges and overpasses, that sort of thing. As far as temperatures outside right now, we're only a little above freezing at 35. We think we'll be back to freezing at 7, and then it's all the way down to 22 as we start things off tomorrow morning. Still below freezing up until about 10 a.m. So from 7 tonight until 10 tomorrow morning, and then we're back up to 50 here tomorrow afternoon. Still cooler than normal. So 22 in Austin would actually be our coldest morning of the season by a couple of degrees. And you could see the teens in the hill country. But even with a light wind, it could feel like single digits. So don't forget the 4 Ps tonight: people, pets, plants, and pipes. May want to drip those pipes, even if you haven't been doing so over the last week, with tonight being our coldest night of winter so far. Clouds and radar shows you our quickly departing storm, taking the snow with it. Several inches of it has fallen in portions of Louisiana and Florida. And right now, here we are, clear and dry. Clear skies with us all night, and with a lighter wind that helps to contribute to these bone-chilling temperatures to start your day tomorrow. At least we'll have a lot of sun tomorrow, so we should melt any residual moisture tomorrow afternoon if it hasn't melted for you today. 4 o'clock sunshine, just a few scattered clouds come in tomorrow night, and then these clouds depart by the time we're up on Thursday, and then Thursday, another very sunny day. But we're still going to have some more cold nights, even if our afternoons are warming. So down to 22 tonight with a clear sky, mostly sunny tomorrow and a high of 50. And then you can see where the temperatures go at night as we head through the rest of the week. 29 Thursday and Friday morning. So still more freezes ahead, but by Saturday morning, at least in Austin, we're above freezing. Daytime highs getting warmer, middle 50s to upper 50s by Friday and Saturday, and we could reach the 60s here on Sunday. But the warmth does come with some rain chances, beneficial rain at that. Those lower chances beginning Saturday during the second half of the day. Higher rain chances Sunday. They drop again Monday, pick back up on Tuesday. And we think that really much of next week's going to have daily rain chances. So those chances begin Saturday but continue through Tuesday. In the middle there is a cold front, but not a particularly strong one. It knocks us from 63 Sunday down to 57 on Monday. We'll be right back.
News Nation tonight. Bill O'Reilly, Stephen A. Smith, James Carville, live for a special 2-hour Cuomo tonight at 8/7 Central, only on News Nation. Tonight, a News Nation exclusive.
Evidence really matters in a case, and one of P. Diddy's accusers says she's got it, and she's sharing it with me, and I'm sharing it with you on Banfield, on News Nation, 10/9 Central.
We're covering the snow emergency in the south, a rare winter storm paralyzing cities and shutting down airports. Plus, will President Trump's embrace of crypto pass the ethics test? What he possibly gains by selling so-called meme coins tonight.
President Trump's pick for ambassador to the United Nations is pledging to promote the president's peace through strength at the UN, including driving reform on American taxpayer dollars used within the organization. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee today in her confirmation hearing. She also highlighted her work to combat anti-Semitism in colleges and universities.
On the Education Committee, I have been the leader in combating anti-Semitism in higher education. My oversight work led to the most viewed testimony in the history of Congress. This hearing with university presidents was heard around the world and viewed billions of times.
Stefanik has served as a New York representative since 2015 and chaired the House Republican Conference from 2021 to 2025.
Well, coming up tonight on KXAN, it's a new episode of St. Denis Medical at 7 o'clock and Night Court at 7:30, followed by new episodes of Deal or No Deal Island and The Irrational before we're back with KXAN News at 10.
And of course, you can join us an hour earlier for KXAN News at 9 on CW Austin.